All right, we're finally here.
It's funny how we made a point yesterday to be on time. We were like, let's pretend the stream starts at 10:30
Yeah.
so that we're definitely on time and we're late.
Yeah, and still last minute. You wanted to vacuum.
Yeah, I like cleaning the house while like before we do the stream because then I'm like off
All
for the
right,
day.
we're here. Finally.
Yes.
Okay. Hi everyone. Thanks for we're about 8 or 9 minutes late, so apologies. Today we're going to talk about, are your expectations of your partner realistic? Of a partner realistic?
Mm-hmm.
Where people have expectations before they go into dating. And I think that can ruin them the most. They condition themselves with their friends, how they talk, like real tough and brave and empowered and whatever. And then that's the persona they have, almost like a cartoon image of themselves and how they talk and what they believe in. And then they go on dates and they come off weird. Their expectations ruin things for them.
Yeah, I feel like in my experience, expectations were always normal, but you kind of introduced me to all the crazy stuff. So,
I think in Europe, maybe it's the history of Europe. Like each country has like a history where the entertainment of the West doesn't really seep in that much. But I think in countries that are younger, like English-speaking countries like the US, especially, that generates a lot of this social media stuff. Australia's a very young country. We feed off this online, and that, like, a lot of people are very modern. Whereas in Europe, like Spain has a long history, Holland has a long history, Germany has a long history. Like, so there's a lot of history kind of, and old people and tradition keeping, okay, that's entertainment. This is real, and calm down.
yeah. But probably even in America, a lot of people think that kind of stuff is just crazy. They get a lot of attention, but it's probably, I don't know if it's the majority that's actually like that. You know?
Yeah, it's interesting because when you're alone and single, there's less places people go now. They all stay at home and they're online. And so your reality and your friends become online, right? Whereas before, I remember when I was young, before social media, if you're alone, you watch movies at home or you were with your hobby, but your social influence was still more real. You'd catch up with friends. Your idea of what reality with people is, interacting socially, would be going out there and talking to people or getting on the phone. I think we're influenced by these extreme stories and the political talking points and girl power and alpha male and all this. This seems really silly when I think back on it when I was young. This all seems like a cartoon and it's stupid. It should be a movie, but it's actually, people are living in it. It's real.
Yeah, I think feminism is probably the cause of it.
Yeah, that kick-started it. That kind of started the lawnmower. But anyway, what are some unrealistic expectations? Some ridiculous ones.
Well, I think my number one is when women expect men to make an extreme amount of money, that's just completely ridiculous and not really necessary at all to have a normal life. And then also they expect the man to bring in all the money and they don't have to pay for anything. But basically when women say, you know those interviews when people go around and they ask women, how much does your man need to make? And then they say like
A million.
100K, 200, yeah, even up to 1 million or more.
500,000. Yeah.
And that's just, I don't know. It's crazy.
Six figures is very normal. High six figures is very normal. Yeah.
Yeah, but that's not even about, you're talking about something else. You're talking about a lifestyle that you would want. You're not even talking about a guy or a relationship or love. It's got nothing to do with that.
I think we're so disconnected from each other. Like, you know how I just mentioned, I was thinking, when we're alone and single, we come up with kooky ideas on our own online. Yeah, men should be like this. Take women's rights away. I'm not going to put up with this. Like, it's all this extreme, gladiator style belief and fighting. And like even when you're on your own, you have these really weird extreme ideas about what's right and wrong and what's fair. And then you get influenced by the politics online about like, yeah, this is the what's fair between two people as well. And so your whole perception of what you expect and what you're not going to put up with anymore is really skewed. You're not normal when you go dating. You're like, I think when you see a pretty girl or girls see guys that they like, they just want to be with them and they want to be normal, but they've been conditioned with, he's got to have a lot of money, he's got to take care of me, he's got to be this high value male. That keeps interrupting a girl just going on a date and having a nice time with a nice person. And I think a guy gets interrupted with the whole battle between the sexes and feminism and worried about what a woman will say and report him. He can't just go and have a nice time with the girl. Like that's kind of interrupted by all of this online shit.
Yeah, but I think it kind of makes it very simple for men and clear, actually. Like if you've got a woman who says stuff like that, like that's her expectation. Like if I were a man, that would be a huge red flag because you don't need that much money. You can, you know, what's the normal amount of money two people need? Like 50,000 a year to get by?
Yeah, but it depends on what your lifestyle. If you, because
lifestyle. It's not about love. They want a type of lifestyle.
Yeah.
You need to do that on your own over there.
Yeah.
Not here with the men that actually want to have a normal relationship. Like it's unfair.
But I'm thinking both anyway. If I know my lifestyle, why would I demand? I mean, I suppose women demand more from guys in terms of lifestyle. Guys really don't demand a lifestyle from a woman. You can call bedroom part of your lifestyle or being with them. But I think men just want company, but women want company plus extra.
Yeah, but so let's talk about what they're actually wanting, right?
Right.
So they want a man to make that much money. And we've already said, like, it's not really about him, it's about the lifestyle. But I think it's also, it shows such an ego. And, like, you're so entitled. I even think it's embarrassing to say something like that. You know, like, why does a man need to make so much money when you don't need it, you know? Especially if you also work. Like, I get that if you want to be a stay-at-home mom and raise children, then you want your man to be able to support you. But then, even in that case, you don't need that much money. You know, they just want, like, an extreme amount of money, and I think that's just delusional.
I think they're just not kind of fair. They don't look at their whole life together and just see that they're happy and each person is contributing and each person's playing fair and supporting each other. Like, I look at our life, like, there's not anything that's, like, equally fair, like a mirror. But we just, like, compliment and support. I do this, I drive us everywhere, but you do that, and you're trying, like, we're always trying to support the relationship and be fair. But it's not like you wash the dishes, I wash the dishes. You cook, I cook. You vacuum, I vacuum. No. I don't think people trust themselves to even know if they're being treated fair. They look for the rules of feminism and politics to kind of tell them, and they're always like angry and ready to fight or ready to leave, like this position of like, you're not going to take advantage of me. And that's a really shitty position to be dating and being with someone, like always defensive and always worried that your partner's going to leave, cheat, or take advantage of you. Yeah,
that as well. I think it's unfair. These women that have these really high expectations, like, it needs to be fair. If you have like an expectation that people think, oh, that's kind of crazy, but it's fair in your relationship, then I think that's fine. But yeah, it just needs to be fair because we both have our roles in our relationship. Like, I do the household, you do the backyard, you drive us everywhere because I don't drive. So it's fair, you know. But when women ask for men to make that much money and it's not necessary and they're not really doing anything and they still want to be a feminist and not do the household chores and take care of him or whatever, that's not fair.
Well, I'm thinking about our life, right? My mindset is I do the stuff that I'm supposed to do, that I enjoy doing, like driving us around and, you know, fixing things outside, mowing the lawn, right? But never do I think, hang on a minute, I do something, why am I doing all of it? Why don't you do some of it? Whereas I more think, your role as a woman, like the chores and things you do, it's like, oh, babe, you might need to clean. You haven't cleaned for like a while or something like that. But it's never like malicious. But I never think like something I'm proud to do and that's my responsibility. I'm thinking, you know what? Why doesn't she do some of this? It's like, no, I do this, and then I see you do other things for me. And it's kind of like, makes me want to do my thing. Because you're doing your thing, and I do my thing, and you do... Not like, hang on, you do more of my work. I want you to do more... Like, it's kind of lazy and selfish.
Yeah, I like that you have your chores, I have my chores. I like that distinction. It makes it simple.
There was a comment here by David. He says, perhaps a good counterpoint to this topic is, are your partner's expectations of you realistic? So I think a lot of people get annoyed like, she expects this, women are entitled. But then, okay, so we sometimes recognize another person is asking too much of us, or they've got unrealistic expectations. But also we don't realize, like if a lot of guys out there are dealing with women with high expectations or unrealistic ones, I feel like there's a lot of guys online that make their expectations just as unrealistic, and then they become high demanding of women. And both sides now are ridiculous. Like a woman will say, I need a guy to make $1 million and be high value. And the guy's like, you know what? I want a woman to have never slept with anyone, to be a master chef, to be great in bed, to be a 10 out of 10 catwalk model, to be this, to be smart, to be like, it's kind of like both sides. Oh yeah, I'm going to ramp it up. Oh, you're going to ramp it up? I'm going to ramp it up too. And it's like you're both pushing each other apart and playing a dumb game.
Right. Yeah. So again, I feel like with almost every topic, I feel like we need to make two distinctions where we talk about normal people or like the America. Because
the online social media stuff.
Because this is like an interesting question, and I'm automatically thinking about like my relationships, and I don't feel like my exes have ever had unrealistic expectations of me. And when it was something that I felt like I couldn't fulfill, then that was more about we're not the right person for each other, and then we found that out, and then we ended our relationship amicably. But not really like they expected something crazy of me. But yeah, obviously in the Western world, there are examples of that where, because sometimes I feel like those like men that call themselves like alpha or whatever, they also have unrealistic expectations, and sometimes they go too far with what they expect from women, I think.
Yeah, I think that they can't help themselves being attracted to the worst kind of hot chicks, the crazy hot chicks. The crazy hot chicks act crazy, and so the only way you can be with them is be as crazy as them, because you won't survive. You see them on the podcast. What kind of women do they have that they're arguing with? Well, you should be this. It's like, no, you don't talk to these women. You leave them.
That's just what I was going to say. That's a choice, though. Just because they're crazy doesn't mean you have to participate in the game. Like, step aside and go into a different direction. Yeah.
I know it's a side tangent, but I think it's an important point of this, because we just mentioned it, is that I think you realize you've come a long way when you're not... There's a difference between you're naive and young and you've been through bad relationships, and afterwards you assess the person you've been with, like how I screwed up. I was with a crazy person. I just went out with them because they were pretty, but they were insane. That's fine to assess that and come to terms with it, but then you decide to date better people, and you decide not to date crazy people and to have very strong and quick boundaries. But I think a lot of these guys and girls, they just go back to dating the same people, arguing more and more and coming up with rules to protect themselves, extreme standards and unrealistic expectations to be able to try and survive dating crazy people.
Yeah, but that's, I think, also because they're in that world constantly. Yeah. They've got those people around them, and I don't, even less than you, because I'm from Holland, and I've never had those kind of people around me. So for me, I'm able to look at it very objectively, I feel like. But yeah, that's an interesting question.
There's a question for you, babe.
Steph, how do you feel about women shit testing men? How should we deal with it? I've heard about that before. That's like where they test them to see how they respond. Yeah, right?
they kind of ask or act. They ask them a question or they say something not because they're genuinely interested, but they want to see how they react, and it's a test. It's kind of like a they're not being genuine. They're playing a game.
Right.
They're strategically setting them up to see how they react in a certain situation.
I think this is an example of that. Like when a woman says, "I'm too late." Like, how do you say that? Like she's late, right?
Oh, she missed her period.
Yeah. And then she kind of makes him think like she might be pregnant, and then she asks him about how he will deal with it. She wants to see his reaction, and then she's like, "Oh yeah, but then this morning I got my period and it's fine." Like that kind of. So yeah, I think it's a negative thing. I don't like it. No.
Yeah, I think it's stupid. I think you should directly ask a question rather. And the other one is where they set them up like they know their man's on their own, and they set up one of their friends to try and come onto him. Right. And see if he'll sleep with her. Like they'll get their friend to, "Come on, let's just go back to your place," and whatever.
Yeah.
And then if it works, they're like, "Ha."
Right. I think that's very scary, actually, because it shows what you're capable of in your character. It's kind of scary. But then I want to counter this. What do you think then about, because there's a thing about men saying you should take a girl on a vacation as like a test.
I've done a video on that.
Right.
The vacation test.
Is that the same thing then, or is that different?
Mine is more, I don't say go on a vacation to test her, but if you're in a relationship, you naturally go on a vacation, you go on a holiday, you spend time away, maybe somewhere. Mine is pay attention to that. That is a test. I wouldn't recommend guys to set it up, right? Because if you're not sure about a woman, don't go on a holiday with her. But I would say pay close attention, keep notes of what happens during the relationship to kind of see, because a holiday or vacation is a nice test to see if you can be together and rely on each other. So the consequences of being on a vacation, I would say, really take notes on that. But I wouldn't sort of go into something being conniving and sleazy and stuff, not go into it trying to test. But if you naturally go onto a holiday and stuff, pay attention to those things. So like say with the woman example, if she genuinely is late and she goes, "Oh babe, I'm late," and he freaks out and she notices how he reacts, that's good, but that was genuine. She wasn't sort of playing a game. So she notices his reaction out of a natural situation. Same with the guy. If he goes on a holiday, go on a holiday because you want to, but don't go on a holiday to test the girl because you're really not sure if you want to be with her. That's stupid.
I think that doesn't even need to be a secret or anything. You could just talk about a woman about that.
Yeah.
Like, let's go on a vacation and see if we don't kill each other before we decide to move in together.
Yeah.
Like, why can't you just talk about that?
I often say on my streams that you can approach all these serious questions with a smile on your face.
Yeah. Very
lighthearted. And you both know it's a serious topic. Like, if I just met you and I'd be like, "So, why'd your last relationship end?" And you laugh about it. It's like, "Haha, this is serious. Okay, let's just let it out," kind of, because it is something we should talk about. It doesn't all need to be serious and scientific and taking notes when the other person doesn't know and testing them if they don't know they're being tested.
Yeah.
Kara says, "You don't do things for her and she doesn't do things for you. Each of you do things for each other, even if the chores are separate." Yeah, but there's also the fact that when I do things, I'm proud of doing them. I'm proud of doing them because it's not just for me anymore. It's for us. It's for our marriage and our relationship. And then I see you, even if you don't want to, you do the chores.
Yeah, can we maybe put that down? I feel like...
You're being blinded?
There's a bit of sun in my face. Oh, that's better. That looks better, I think, also. I actually want to challenge that a little bit, Kari, because I actually think I don't care about a lot of stuff. So it actually helps for me to think about, no, I'm doing this for us or for you. that works better for me actually than to think I'm doing this for myself because I wouldn't necessarily care. You know, like I don't like cleaning that much, but I clean much better and more with you. But if you weren't in the picture, I probably wouldn't be as diligent about cleaning.
Yeah, well, that side of your personality has really helped you have good relationships. You really don't care. You're not affected by you. You know when people say don't care about what other people think, you really don't care about what other people think. You've got really good natural boundaries. If it's left up to you, you just wouldn't do a lot of stuff. You're fairly simple. You don't need to buy bullshit and go out and shop. Like, you don't care. But you care about me and us. And you do these things for me and us.
Yeah, I would say with a lot of things in our marriage, I do things because for us and because I love you. And it helps me to think like that. If I just think about, I have to do this because it's the right thing to do, or because it's a good habit, or because it will help me make progress in something, I'm going to be like, whatever, you know. But if I think about it, no, this is important for our marriage or for you, that gets me to do it much more. Yeah. So, yeah, that works. But maybe I work in a bit of a different way. I don't know. Yeah,
but also, even if you are selfish, if you love your partner and you love your marriage, you selfishly love your marriage as well. So if you don't do it, even the marriage, like selfishly, like you love me and love being married to me and love our life, if you kind of go, no, I'm just going to do what I want to do in a single mindset, it's like, well, all this is going to go away then.
Right.
So it's like selfishly, even if you as a person on your own is like, no, even if it's just about me, I love this marriage. I love the way Bobby treats me. I love everything. So I'm going to put in a little bit of effort because I selfishly love our life.
That's another one that really helps me a lot, is me remembering how much you do for me. That also is like a big motivator for me to do stuff.
Yeah, because you feel guilt, unlike a lot of women. A lot of women don't feel guilt like you do. But you feel guilt very intensely.
I do. Sometimes it's annoying, but I'm really happy that I have that, especially in relationships. Yeah. Because else it wouldn't be good.
Ug Life says, I just wanted to say you two are saving my hope for a future relationship. 27-year-old American, single for a decade, kind of done with dating here, considering looking overseas, but I don't know yet.
27. Oh, that's young.
A lot of 27s will say, oh my God, I'm so old.
Oh, really?
Yeah. Haven't you heard that? Like TikTokers? Oh my God, I'm 25, I'm old.
No, that's still very young. You know what you should do? Like, imagine you're 10 years older, 20 years older, right? And then, like, really imagine that for a moment. And then go back to your own age. And then, like, oh, yeah, actually, I have a lot of decades to go. That helps me sometimes.
This is funny. Steph would live like Asmongold. You would.
Who's that?
He's the YouTuber. Remember when we were in Holland when we were watching the court case of Johnny Depp?
Oh, I know who you mean.
That guy with the long hair, he just lives in squalor. Yeah. He's really rich. He's a multimillionaire, but he's a streamer, and he just kind of streams every day for 8 hours.
I heard that he got like health issues or something.
Yeah, there was like bugs and fungus and asthma type of stuff in the air. And
okay, I wouldn't go that far, but I am definitely a homebody. Yeah.
Yeah.
Where are the good women?
Yeah.
That's a good question, but yeah.
Yeah, I think the social, look, religion's disappeared, the social norms, society used to almost force you or shame you to act like a good woman or a good man out there. Like, it's rude to behave like this. But now it's like you can do whatever you want, and if people don't like it, it's their problem. Like, they've encouraged everyone just to be so narcissistic and selfish that you should be able to act and express yourself however you want. You can dress with purple hair and wear a dress and you've got a beard, and like, that's everyone else's problem because this is your truth and this is your world, and you should be able to throw yourself in everyone's face, and everyone, even if they're uncomfortable, it's their problem. Like everyone's kind of rude, And almost like, but also everyone online and out there is pushing for attention. Love me, notice me, but I don't give a fuck what you think about me. It's like really dysfunctional.
Yeah, like I don't really know how to Buffin. I don't really know how to answer that question. But I think obviously those types of women that you see on YouTube, that's like a group of women in the world, right? But like not all women are like that, obviously. So yeah.
The manosphere hate that saying. Whenever anyone says not all women are like that, everyone like rolls their eyes.
Yeah, but the opposite is also true. If you say all women are like that, then just by saying that, that's already not true, because everyone knows that there are healthy marriages in the world. You know, it's gotten worse with feminism and everything. But that's also like eye rolling. Like obviously that's not true. That's like a blanket statement that you're making. But yeah, but where are the good women? I don't know how to answer that in terms of in what countries or whatever. But there are countries that are where feminism hasn't infected it that much, I guess. And then it's also, you have to just talk to a woman to kind of gauge where she's at. But I do think that the red pill makes men aware of a lot of red flags and what to look out for. And if you are kind of objective and hopefully not around those women that much, I think that helps. Like I can be very objective because I've never been in that world. Then it is very easy to recognize when women just have unrealistic expectations or whatever, or they act in ways that just aren't okay. You know, that's pretty easy to recognize, I think. And then, yeah, it's your choice whether you want to walk away.
Yeah, I think in the West it's tough for men and women both because they're just used to gaslighting each other all the time and playing these games. You just grow up from when you're a baby to when you're an adult thinking that games and confusion and stress are normal when you interact with each other. And there's never any right way to politely be with each other.
Yeah, I know, and maybe this is because I'm an outsider looking in, but this is the comments keep distracting me. But this is, I think, where you have to take responsibility also. You know, if you're in an environment with those kind of women, then obviously you need to look elsewhere and not engage with that anymore, I guess. Not that I'm trying to tell anyone what to do, but this is just kind of how I look at it, you know? Like you can't just sit there and keep saying it's horrible and everything around me and I can't do anything and, you know, don't engage with it anymore and try to do something else or look elsewhere.
Yeah, I feel like at some point, it happened with me and I can't understand how some guys can keep doing it. They're older than me and they still keep complaining the same way they complained when they were 18 or 20. And I always wonder, at what point do you get sick of your own voice saying the same things like a tape recorder? At some point you go, I'm done, and you're actually done. Or you just want to fix it and you date better people, or you're very particular how you are in your life, whether with or without women. You know, at one point do you just stop being some woke complainer? I just feel like even now the dating world online is just like a bunch of woke people, just the whole thing.
Yeah, it's almost like a choice to stay in that space, because I feel like because some of the behaviors of those types of women, it's so obvious. That actually makes it really simple, I feel like, for men to distinguish that kind of behavior from normal behavior. So it's like, okay, this kind of behavior is not what I want. Let's go into the other direction. I feel like it actually makes it very simple.
It's simple, but it's not easy for a lot of people emotionally, but they need to come to terms with that. That's the difficult.
I get that men have that inclination towards women that I don't have to deal with. So that makes it harder. So, yeah.
But practically speaking, it is a very simple concept of what you do, but it's hard to actually do it. You know, it's kind of like, yeah. Anyway, let's go through some more of expectations that you wrote down. What are some other ridiculous expectations that women have of men?
Well, one that I actually think is unrealistic. An unrealistic expectation that men have of women. But this is kind of rare, I think, and this is more for men that are very successful. Like I've heard a few times when a very successful man, he wants a woman to be completely on his team and to kind of join his business. And then I always think, what about her? What she wants to do? But I think it's fine if the woman wants it and it's not a problem for her. I think just sometimes when I hear a man talking about that, like kind of aggressively or very confident, like he wants a woman to be like work for him, and that just sounds weird to me.
I think if you're both business minded and entrepreneurs or whatever, that can work. But again, that just comes down to compatibility. It's not about, well, she needs to be on my team and be part of my business. But what if you're just picking a pretty girl and she's a homebody and you're forcing her to be part of your team and business minded and help out with the structure of your business world? That's not compatible. But I think if you're compatible, that works itself out.
Yeah, but yeah, that's why I said that is something that I find weird, but I also think that's very rare, probably. Yeah, so that might not be.
Yeah, I think compatibility is the issue, because if you find a girl that's also very materialistic and business-minded and she's an entrepreneur, then she'll be happy being on your team. You're going to be on each other's team because you both want the same things. But if she's just some bimbo who wants to ride around in your convertible and be a pretty object, and you're very business-minded and you want support, you don't just want a lover and a partner, you want a business partner as well. You want her involved in your business world that takes up so much of your life. And if she's not like that, then that's a compatibility issue. It's not about, well, every woman has to be on my team, otherwise she's useless as well. Pick a woman that's compatible, that doesn't want to do that kind of thing.
Yeah.
This lighting, I swear, is just pissing me off.
Often. Oh, no. Never mind.
Yeah, if you'd like to ask a question, people, if you're here during the stream, add 3 smiley faces like this example here, and we'll see it during the comments. Just like, Ted's comment, he put 3 pieces of fruit, but just for simplicity's sake, put 3 emojis.
What do you think is a really unrealistic expectation?
I think one that men have that for me is always ridiculous. I've never believed this, but then again, I never cared, is guys want a woman that hasn't slept with anyone, but they want it to be great in bed.
Oh yeah, we talked about that.
I think that's just so dumb. But some guys actually expect that fantasy, and it doesn't map onto reality at all. It's like, how is she supposed to be good? Oh, she was just practicing for me all these years, waiting for me.
Where have you heard that? Like, have you heard many men actually say that?
No, but I don't think they think about it. They're like, I want a girl that's never slept with anyone, right? And they're like, well, I'll marry when I'm ready. And they might be, first they want to start their business, right? These guys want to start their business. And it'll take until they're in their 30s to get anything going, even if they are successful in business. And then they'll probably marry someone who's young. That's their plan. They don't actually care about meeting a person that's right for them. It's kind of like, no, I'm going to make this business. That's the goal, tick. Once I'm successful, I'm going to get a young bimbo that's beautiful and listens to everything I say and fits into my frame, tick. And it's just kind of a very structural way to live a personal life. To me, it's just really dumb. But back to what you said, I don't think guys think about it. They think, I want a girl who hasn't slept with anyone. I want to be the first one, the main one. And then afterwards, when they get in the bedroom, they'll be like, this is terrible. And then afterwards, they think about, yeah, someone who hasn't slept with anyone's actually terrible in bed. They're like a rag doll.
Yeah. I feel like there's a lot that I want to respond to what you just said. I feel like if there are men that want to become successful, and then later on they want to be with a young woman, I think that there might be some men that have that mindset of, I want like a young girl because I can mold her and she'll do what I say or whatever. But I also think there are probably a lot of men that are just like, I've made it this far, I'm successful, and now I want to make the best choice for me, which is a beautiful young woman. and I want to be with her, but it's not necessarily malicious. They just want to be with a young, beautiful woman because they can. So I also think it doesn't necessarily have to be bad, and I don't think there's anything wrong with that.
No.
But then I also think that, and we talked about this before, but men that get with a virgin, for example, I find it kind of hard to believe that they will be very surprised that she's not good in bed.
I don't think they complete the equation in their head. They're so focused on getting this prize of a woman that's pristine, never been touched. Is it like he can brag to his friends, like, look at her, I'm the first and only one she'll ever have. Look, I found this unique prize. It's like you found a pearl from the ocean, like, you know, untouched.
Yeah, but I just feel, I'm not a man, but I just feel like if I were a man and I would get like a young woman, if she is inexperienced, that would be fine to me because I've got like a beautiful young woman. I'm her first, right?
No.
I wouldn't mind because I can teach her because everyone learns through sex.
Yeah, I know you can teach people what you like, but teaching from scratch, like I've never. That's the main reason I never wanted to go with a girl who hadn't slept with anyone. One, I don't want to kind of, again, I don't want her to have all these expectations like I'm the one she wants to lose it to, and she might, you know. And also, I want to have a great time in bed. I don't want to say, oh, well, one day this will be great when I teach her.
I just feel like it's not that big of a deal.
Look, for me it is. I've always wanted a raging whore in the bedroom. I never wanted like some zero, nothing, like that I have to spend a lot of time teaching.
But you know why I say that? Because obviously I'm a woman and I've slept with men. So what I mean is, like, just in my experience, like, it's pretty easy for a guy to have a good time, even if the woman isn't that active in bed. So even if he has a virgin and she isn't really that active in bed in the beginning, that's fine. Like, he'll still get off and everything, and then he can teach her what he likes. And it's not that much. It's like pretty simple, I feel like.
Yeah, but it's just not mechanical as well. It's also like everyone's different. There are some guys that don't care. The same guys that would get a doll is the same guys that don't care if she's good or whatever. He'll throw her around. She's basically a body. She doesn't care if she wants it or she's excited or she's good at anything. They don't care. Other guys care a bit more, like me. I want her to be enthusiastic and she's got to be skilled in certain areas or do things that I don't know. Not everything has to be a surprise.
Yeah, but isn't it normal for a virgin not to be very good at sex?
Sure.
Yeah, but then why is it a problem if she learns it over a few weeks or months?
Sure. Okay.
Or
yeah, I'm looking from my point of view. Maybe these guys don't care and they're happy to spend the time to teach her. But I don't know. I've just never cared about it. I wanted someone. Maybe that was my.
I think you just want, like you said, you just want a whore in bed, and
yeah.
And you're just thinking about what you want.
Yeah. But like, I don't need this pristine person. I don't want to have kids. I don't want this perfect picture of this family and children, and she's never been touched. Like, I know if I want someone good in bed, she has had to have experience. I don't care.
But
yeah.
Don't you think that those successful men, let's say they're in their mid-30s or something, they've probably been with a lot of women and a lot of very experienced women and hoes and whatever. They've already had fun with that. But now that they want to settle down, they want to have a serious relationship. They want to have like a young, beautiful woman who's inexperienced. I don't think they will mind that they have to teach her.
Probably, yeah.
Like that's why I find that kind of surprising. I think they won't mind that at all because you're her first and you can just teach her and it's not much to learn.
Yeah.
You know, it's pretty simple.
I guess it depends on the guy, how he sees life. I've always lived life in real time, where I am now moving forward. And I pay attention to what just happened, but I very much am focused where I am now and where I'm going to in the immediate future. But some guys have this plan for their whole life, so they can kind of build a business, be successful, and ignore women or serious relationships. And then at some point go, okay, now my plan is, now I look for a wife. Now my plan is I raise children. Now I retire. Now my plan is I play golf from 60 to 70 or 80. Now my plan is I sell my business, and I've just always moved in real time. So I'm like dating the people. I'm dating the people that I like now because I like them and I know why I like them. But these guys, some people can do that, long-term planners, and they live their lives very structurally and they adhere to it their whole lives,
Yeah, but everyone's just different.
Yeah,
And everyone wants different things. Yeah.
Okay. Big Ol says, are unrealistic expectations just expectations that are incommensurate with your own SMV?
Damn.
That's red pill speak, babe.
What's SMV?
The sexual market value.
Okay.
Expectations that are incommensurate with your own SMV.
Okay, could you translate that sentence for me, babe?
I'm trying to translate it myself. Your unrealistic expectations are they expectations that are incompatible with your own value out there in society? So your expectations, the way you look might be a 7. Your expectations are realistic. You're about a 7 in your expectations. But your expectations are a 10. But where you are is like a 5.
Right.
That's what he's saying.
Right. Yeah, there's truth to that, I feel like.
And so your looks might be a 5, but your expectations of how you see yourself is a 10. Like the girls that think...
Yeah. We see that on YouTube a lot.
But again, it depends on how realistic you want to be. So, for instance, in this way, the way you phrase the question, Big Ol, like the way you phrase questions, I think, like how other people would hear that. Like if you're on a date talking like this, like how another woman would take your language, how you present yourself, like how you look on a date. Like it does matter. A lot of people think that like how you present yourself shouldn't matter. And I believe I'm a 10, or I believe I speak well, or I believe it's like, no, you really don't. You might speak very intelligently, but really kind of weird from the manosphere. Or you might dress a certain way that you think is cool, but other people kind of raise their eyebrows at you.
Mm. Yeah.
Also, all right. So let's answer some of the questions that were left. Melanico, in terms of this topic, are your expectations of partner realistic? He says, I would say the most unrealistic expectations men and women have for each other is the following: make me happy.
Yeah, I think it's everyone's responsibility to make themselves happy. And probably your boyfriend or husband, like, of course you expect them to add to your happiness.
Yeah, because
to some degree.
Because we can make each other's lives unhappy.
Yeah.
Yeah. So you do have your partner does have an influence on your happiness, but to make your partner happy, if they're always like complaining and it's like, I'm not happy, give me more. Yeah.
Yeah, like I'm with you because you make me happy, and I feel like it's my duty to add to your happiness as it is yours to add to mine. That's why we're together, because else why would you even be together? But I do also think that it is your responsibility to be happy yourself as a person. Like, it's not, I can't come into this marriage being like, okay, make me happy, and now I don't do anything. Like, that's absurd.
Yeah, like I think the metaphor I see is like you come into the relationship like a sinking brick into the water, and the other person's got to keep pulling you up.
Right.
It's like, make me happy, I'm depressed, I'm sad, like I'm sinking. It's your responsibility to keep lifting me up. It's like, it's not like sink. It's not like come there floating with me, but you keep yourself afloat. Like you're not sinking and asking me to lift you up all the time.
Yeah. You can't put that all on another person.
Uglife says, I would be okay having to lead a girl. Oh, actually, no, he said, I would be okay having to lead girls first time. It's more about bond building aspect, not really expecting her to give me a crazy experience. We talked about this last night, where even when I've had in the past one night stands, if there's something about their personality that's really weird or off, I really find it uncomfortable to just sleep with a girl for one night. But if I get along with her and she's fun, it's much easier and I have a good time. Whereas you say women don't care about that. Or
Oh, I would never speak for all women. I'll just speak for myself, I think, because I'm a bit odd in some ways, maybe. But women don't care about.
well, in this way, like he's touching on something that I've expressed to you, that even if I just had a friends with benefits or a one night stand in the past, I do need to have some sort of fun connection with them. There needs to be some sort of personality there. There needs to be some sort of person, not just the body.
Oh, I think that's, if we're talking about in general, that's probably not women that feel like that in general. I think it's probably men that feel not like you do in general. I feel like most men probably wouldn't have a problem with just a one night stand. And that may be where you're a bit different, where you do really care about the vibe and stuff.
Yeah, I need a bit of a personality. I need some sort of connection between us to be able to even do a one night stand. I need to feel comfortable with her as a person. Yeah, to me, it's not just the body. It doesn't need to be meaning and love and all that bullshit. No, but there needs to be a person.
Hey.
Okay. Next. David P says, I dated a woman who said, if we get married, I'll do whatever you want as far as the wedding. When I started telling her things I wanted, I was met with nothing but resistance the day after we were done. What do you mean, I'll do whatever you want as far as the wedding? Did she say...
Oh, like as in organizing the wedding, I'll do whatever you want. I think that's what he means.
as in he was starting to say what he wanted in the wedding and then she kept saying no.
Yeah, that's a weird thing. Like how weddings are like so big for women, and it can become all about the wedding and not even about the actual marriage and life after the wedding.
Taradine says, I dated someone whose mum had very high expectations for the guy her daughter dated. The relationship was short-lived because ultimately the mum made her daughter choose between me and her family. The issue was because I wasn't rich enough, apparently. Her mum's second marriage was to a rich guy, so she wanted the same for her daughter.
Well, there's your answer, I guess. No. Unless the girl really loved you, but her mom influenced her not to do it. That's a bit of unfortunate, but...
Yeah, some parents, they think in their heads, like, I'm just really looking out for my daughter or my son. I'm not doing anything bad. And they don't really see how they're ruining a chance.
That's actually selfish.
I think I've mentioned with, like, a couple of exes ago, the other relationship I had before you that was good. And her family, especially her mum, really interfered. And it was a big problem between us. But her mum didn't realise. She was just like real forceful and arrogant and everything had to be her way. And so much so that my ex-partner, she was really afraid of her and she was trying to appease her, and she was always saying, oh, if she asks this, tell her I did this and don't tell her this. And like, you had to keep lying to the mother.
Oh, that would have annoyed the crap out of me if that would have happened to me.
But a lot of parents do. They think they're really like, I'm being a good parent. I'm looking out for my child's best interest. I grew up poor, and now my daughter's going to marry someone rich. I know what it's like growing up poor, and you're not going to marry a poor guy. And so every guy that she doesn't like and he doesn't have a lot of money, it's like she'll do everything to ruin it.
I do feel like that's very different from this example because her mom wanted her to marry someone rich. Like, he wasn't rich enough, but he wasn't poor. Like, I do feel like that's... Like, that can still come from a good place if you don't want her to stay poor and you want her to marry up a little bit. Like, I can get why she would want that. But if he's just a normal guy, but she wants a rich guy for her daughter, like, that's not as good, I think. But yeah, it is selfish if the parents... Because my parents, they would be happy for me... Whoever I married, man, woman, well, those are the only options. But I'm gonna be listing stuff.
Not on YouTube.
There are only two sexes, guys. Okay. Yeah, but they would have accepted anything as long as I'm happy. That's all they care about, and I feel like that's love. You know, like if the parents want something else for you, that's like selfish.
Yeah, and I think a lot of people online who date structurally like that, like they've got to be this, they've got to have money, they've got to have a six-pack, she's got to be a great cook, she's got to have like a 0 body count.
Yeah, I'm not a good cook.
But but you try. And you do cook and you want to cook for us.
I do always cook, but you like simple meals. That helps a lot.
But what I'm saying is, getting back to, like, people have as dumb structural rules for what they want in a person as some of these dumb parents do. No, you've got to marry a rich person. He's got to be this. He's got to be that. Your wife has to be this and that. But there's very little discussion about the personality. Does she love you? Does she treat you well? Is she kind? Is she considerate? Is she fair? Does she look out for you? Does she always support you? Things like that. There's very little of that. It's all money, structure, body count, cooking. It's all...
Yeah. You know what's funny? Whenever you talk about that, my instant reaction is like to get hostile almost. You know?
You? Hostile?
Not hostile, but like when I think about if I was with someone and their parents were like criticizing me or didn't like me or whatever, and it wasn't like fair and realistic, I just feel like I would be like, I don't know, I wouldn't respond well to it. You know?
Yeah, it's as dumb as like your father telling the son, well, yeah, I know she's nice and sweet, but redhead, that's ugly to me. Don't marry a redhead. Like, dump her. Or she's overweight or something. It's like nothing to do, like, you like her, but your parents are like telling you, nah, you can do better.
Yeah, I guess what I'm trying to say is I'm not the type of girl that would like sit down and just take it. You know, if I feel like I'm being treated unfairly or not in a nice way, I'm going to speak up. Like, I'm pretty direct. Mm-hmm. So that's just what I mean. I would speak up for myself. I wouldn't just take shit.
Yeah, but it's kind of tricky. When you're with someone and you like the person, your inclination is to be nice to the parents. I think that's nice. You want to be respectful and nice because it's their family. That's a good sign. But then if the family starts treating you bad, you really need to... That's an awkward position to be in. Like, I don't want to stand up to her shitty father or mother and like embarrass my partner. It's like you really should talk to your partner, I guess. But
yeah, but that's where the partner needs to step up as well, I feel like. Yeah, it's just not a nice situation.
Karu says, expectations of the death of both happiness and relationships. People need to be taken as they are, both good and bad. Manosphere brain rot Spurg speak won't help you with normal individuals. Yeah.
Manosphere brain rot Spurg. Damn.
Bloody blah. Okay. Peg, Northern Bell, says about this question. I think the question in the thing was, have you dated anyone with like really high expectations or unreasonable ones? And she said, no, LOL. Peg is someone who's really solid and she doesn't put up with shit, which is really great. And it's a reason why she's had really good relationships like you. Mm. They don't let people walk all over them, you know? And she says, it would be over before it started regarding dating material, compatibility, common values, communications, reciprocation, etc. all factors in the bigger picture. Resistance to discussion and action resolving unrealistic expectations in or of either person would make it a no-go. They are either your person fitting and meshing well together or they are not. Relationships do take effort of each individual, but it shouldn't be hard if it should be willfully and pleasantly natural. Mm. Yeah, you and I have a few times where we're trying to see eye to eye or we've got different points of view, but we're not attacking or debating each other or trying to win. We're always trying to kind of expose something and get to a common ground. Mm. Yeah. I think the way people just even approach dating is like they're on defense and they're ready to fight and they're ready to never be taken advantage of. You should be going on dates like wanting to have fun and not worried about being hurt.
Yeah, but every time you say that, like, people going on dates on the defense and they're playing this persona and stuff, immediately I think like, well, okay, like that's what you're doing, then that's what you get. Like, it's kind of your own fault. I don't know, you should just be yourself.
Yeah, but some people actually don't really have much of a self. So it's easier for them to put a character on. Here we go. Y&T Fitness UK. two parts, very long response, but it was a pretty good response about, what was the actual question? The question I asked was, have any of you ever dated someone with very unrealistic expectations? And YNT Fitness says, an easier question would be, have you met anyone who has no TikTok expectations? Yeah, it's kind of modern dating expectations are, young, and so TikTok. He says, I have no expectations when dating other than what you'd expect from any interaction from human beings. Polite, kind, agreeable in nature, less combative. I think those things, polite, kind, agreeable, and less combative, I think if you don't have them, you shouldn't excuse them just because they're attractive or you're lonely. They're the basics. They're the foundation everyone should try and look for, I think, because they're really good ways. If you're not combative, you're polite and kind, I can say something that's uncomfortable. I can bring up an uncomfortable conversation. But if you're a person that's always combative, cruel, vindictive, manipulative, I won't want to bring up anything uncomfortable. Therefore, I'm going to keep a lot in. I'm not going to be honest. And you're not going to know everything inside me, because it's just dangerous bringing it out. I don't want to fight. I don't want these uncomfortable moments. I remember an ex of mine who had a bad temper years ago. She used to accuse me of never opening up. I'm holding a lot back. And back then, I wasn't hiding a lot, but there were certain things I don't want to say or do because she just blew up. You couldn't talk to her. And now when I realize, yeah, of course, I don't want to have those stupid arguments.
Yeah.
Anyway, he continues, less combative. Similar morals and values to someone I genuinely want to be around. The expectations these days of men are wanting supermodels and women wanting billionaires is an online disease that keeps spreading where reality doesn't reflect the demands. The same with this stereotypical man must protect and provide and women must cook and clean. It's so distorted from reality that to actually put into place would be a nightmare. My view is that in order to have a successful life with someone, you have two pillars consisting of financial and domestic responsibilities. If I provide 100% financial, then it's only fair that I don't have to fulfill any domestic responsibilities. In 2024, both people work and both people live in homes and do domestic chores. Stop comparing and start living. Help each other and get through the day where you can sit next to one another and unwind together, or be miserable not getting what you want and do 100% of everything yourself. I thought that was a good comment.
Yeah, I agree with that. And I think that that's where it gets very unfair, where some of those women on YouTube, they just want it all and they don't want to do anything. But it's not like a fair split, Like, because he's saying if the man provides 100%, then the women should be doing the household chores 100%. Like, I think that's fair.
I think people also misinterpret feeling good, relaxing too much. Like, you can go on a holiday and splurge out and stay at an expensive hotel with a pool, and everyone waits on you hand and foot, and you get room service, and it feels great to be waited on hand and foot. But you don't love all the people that give you room service. Like, you don't have this intimate love bond and trust and, romantic sort of in a connection with them. You love being pampered. But in a relationship, people don't realize that you don't want to just sit there being pampered by your partner and you do nothing. You feel good in a relationship where you do stuff and then you get filled up with dopamine because the person really loves you for it. You're showing the person that you love them by putting in effort. And then the other person does it for you and you do it for them. And it's this beautiful feedback loop of effort. And it's kind of like you both do stuff for each other. But I think everyone's like in holiday mode these days. They want to date. I do nothing. You do everything. I don't get taken advantage of. I'm pampered all the time.
Yeah, that's how it's supposed to be. Like the first thing you said.
Yeah.
Yeah, but not everyone does it.
So I thought that was a really good comment. Thanks, YNT Fitness UK. Where are we? We're on the chats. Any further comments? While we're waiting for the comments, guys, if you would like to comment again, please add 3 smiley faces before your comment if you want to comment during the chat and stream. And we'll read out some other ridiculous expectations. How long have we been going? Nearly an hour. What are some other unrealistic ones you think that women have of men?
That women have of men?
Yeah. Six pack, six figures, 6 inches.
Six pack. I don't think that's that important to women. I think the money and height, those two are very important. Six pack. I don't really think women care that much about it. Yeah, something that I think is yeah, I don't know.
All right. So what are someone men have of women?
Well, I do think there's one that's a bit like we've talked about that before. Like, she should not be going out or going on trips with her girlfriends.
Yeah, my feeling is I have no problem like her going on trips and out. But if she wants to go out clubbing to the single scene, if she wants to always hang out and have a single life with her girlfriends who are also drinking and hooking up and stuff, I don't want my partner in that environment.
Yeah, but see, this is one that like men that don't want women to do that, that is really something that I started hearing about once I started watching all these videos. Because I feel like in Holland, it's very normal for people to be going out, even if they're in relationships, you know, like, especially when you're in your 20s, that's just something that you do to have fun.
Oh, sure. But I'm like, there's a distinction between you're dating and you're young and you're just boyfriend and girlfriend. But then there's a difference. You move in together and you live together and then you're married or, you know.
Yeah, I think it depends. I don't think you can say that as a blanket statement per se.
Like even a guy, if a guy's was drinking and going to strip clubs when he was single and now he's like married and he's got kids, he's still going to strip clubs and he's drinking and getting blind drunk and everything. That's, to me, a bit very much more shameful than before. Because before, if he's getting blind drunk and passing out and going to strip clubs and throwing up and like, yeah, you're single, you're young, whatever, you start doing it when you're older, you look like a bit of a joke. But if you're doing it while you've got kids and you're married and you're with someone in a committed relationship, I would say the person needs to improve a little bit.
Yeah, that's also different from going out, I feel like. Like, a more honest equivalent would probably be that if a man goes out to a bar to have a drink with his friends, that might be the same as like a girl going out with her girl group to dance, for example. Because a strip club is obviously crossing a line.
Look, when you're with someone, you move in and you make this commitment or you get married with someone. So I'm looking at us like it's a more serious relationship than if I was just dating you. When you're single, you don't realistically have a lot. You can't demand a lot. You're pretty much single, but you're dating and you're seeing each other, your boyfriend and girlfriend or whatever. But then as time goes on, like you get closer or you're moving together and whatever. But say, for instance, if we were just dating and I was going out skydiving or, you know, driving race cars, it's dangerous. But if I'm single, you can't tell me what to do. But when we're together more, I understand like you're worried about my safety. You rely on me. You care about me more. Our relationship is deeper and it's part of both of our lives. It's not just our two separate lives dating. It's our two lives together now. And so I have to consider you. Now, I can't just drive fast cars and risk myself. In the same way, women, they're also vulnerable out there at clubs with other guys and their girlfriends and guys cracking onto them, and I can't protect or do anything because I'm not with you, you know? So a woman should also not just think of herself and think about what the concerns of her man is as well. So it's, yeah, you can both do what you want and say, like, you're not going to tell me what I'm going to do, but then also you don't care about your partner and your more committed relationship.
That's interesting though, because those people that love sports that are very dangerous, you do see them do those sports even with their partners, and their partners accept that something might go wrong because they love the sport so much. So I feel like that's a bit of a different example maybe. But I'm not saying like, I'm saying it depends on the situation. Like right now, I feel very differently about this than I did back in Holland, for example. You know, like if I'm in normal relationships, then I feel like in Holland it's very normal to still just go out with your girlfriends and stuff. And I've done that too. But with you, it's different. But that's like for a few reasons. I guess it's because you're my husband, and that's a very different level. It's also because of your age. It's also because I'm a homebody and I don't have friends here. It's also because of my age and I'm not really into clubbing anymore. So it's a lot of things. But I guess what I would do differently now is, say I did make a really good friend here and we wanted to go dancing or whatever, then I would probably find a way to include you in that, you know, or we might go to like a restaurant where you could also dance, like something like that. And then we could just do it like with the group or something, you know. So I would change it so that I wouldn't be out clubbing by myself, even if I know that would be fine if I were to do that with a friend without you, obviously. But I know that it would make you feel uncomfortable, and I feel like it's not very respectful because we're married, but also because of your age for some reason. So I wouldn't do it now, but I guess what I was saying is, I can imagine that like women in their 20s, if they're just in relationships, then especially in Holland, I feel like that's very normal. And this wouldn't even be like a thing.
No, I think the younger you are, some of these things, it's not a black and white answer. Of course, when you're younger, you're in your late teens, 20s, you're not married, you're single, you're finding out who you are. You probably live at home, a lot of you haven't moved out. And you haven't moved in with your partner, so you're young and dating. And so you don't really have much say in the other person, what they do in their own time, as long as they don't cheat on you and they're respectful and they treat you well and stuff like that when they're with you. But then later on, you hope you be over that clubbing, drinking, partying, flirting, making out, and, chasing the opposite sex and stuff. And if you've chosen someone, you can hang out with, like, if you've got a friend that is single, you don't have to go at night to bars. I know she might be single and she wants to find someone, but doesn't she have anyone else to go out clubbing with than you? You can catch up with her any other time. Like, why do you need to go in the middle of the night clubbing with her? And also, again, it's not realistic because you're at home with a partner. You probably work now. You haven't got all that disposable time that your friend does that can probably sleep in and all of that.
Yeah, I think it really depends on where you are in life. Because if I was still single in Holland, then I would probably still be going out because my sister sometimes goes dancing with some friends. I would probably go with them, because, to do like Caribbean dancing and stuff. Like, that's a lot of fun. So, but yeah, so for me, the way that I act really depends on whether I'm in a relationship or not.
End of the day, look, you talk to your partner, and if you care about them, you compromise because you want to, and it's fine with you. Like, if you didn't feel about me the way you do, you would probably be stubbornly pushing back on a lot of things I find important.
Yeah, if our relationship was more like the level of my exes, but then I wouldn't, I don't know if I would be here.
That's what yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, anyway. Yeah. Talk to your partner and stand up for how you want them to be and how you're going to be. And this is the thing, you have to be realistic. You can't be like, well, my wife, girlfriend or partner, can't go out, can't do this, can't do that. Like, you really restrict everything and she's got to be perfect. But you can go out there and get drunk and do everything and she can't say anything to you.
Yeah, but I think there are solutions. Like, if you have a woman and she really wants to go dancing, like, you can go to a place where you can go with the group and you can go with her. Or have one of the friends organize a dance party at her place with cocktails, put on music, you can dance like there. You don't have to
Yeah.
go out per se.
Well, this is the thing with me. I get it that girls like to hang out with girls. You don't want your partner there. Like when girls get together and they talk about stuff, I don't want to be there because you're going to talk, you're going to do your girl talk and hang out with each other. Just the same way I hang out with my guy friends sometimes. But why do you have to always go to nightclubs in single scene? That's a singles environment. I know that they say, oh, we just want to dance. But you're dancing and there's a lot of guys approaching and you've got to keep telling guys to go away. And your partner at home, your man at home is thinking not so much that he doesn't trust you, but he keeps imagining guys coming up to you, hey, babe, come on, stop being a bitch. Like he's just imagining all these things and he's not there to protect you. And then the worst case scenario is you're drunk or you let a guy kiss you. Because even if you push a guy away, how do you know the guy's not going to just come in and kiss you?
Yeah, and I'm saying I understand that.
Yeah.
So in that case, I would say either go with her or just go to a girl's place.
Yeah.
To one of your friends' place and dance there.
Don't go to a singles bar. Go somewhere else that it's like a cafe in the evening where there's a bit of music and stuff, but don't go to a nightclub. Don't don't go to a singles bar.
Yeah.
Anyway, any last questions? Do we have anything else? Any more of these unrealistic expectations?
What do you think about social media? Like men saying she can't have Instagram or something.
I think there's a lot of insecurity. If you really don't know who you're with.
I think it depends on the type of pictures, though. If she's posting, like, bikini pictures and that kind of stuff.
Sure, but that's obvious. Like, I would say that that's obvious. But I know I had an ex a couple of years ago that she didn't like the fact that, why were you on Facebook or why? And I'm barely on social media. This was before I had my channel. And she just thought people who are on social media always have something to hide and they're trying to hook up and stuff. But she was the one that also, I don't know if she cheated on me towards the end. So I think these people who are hyper-focused on someone cheating and not trusting them and you can't have social media, they hold on to them so tight that they don't really know their partner and they might actually stray and cheat themselves. So they're trying to hold on so tight because they don't trust them. I would say, why don't you trust your partner?
Yeah.
I don't know. But social media, yeah, I don't care. As long as the social media isn't like Tinder. Again, if they're on dating sites, hookup sites, but if you're just on normal social media, like Instagram and Facebook and whatever, who cares? And as long as your partner doesn't sort of say, don't look at my phone, hiding things, as long as they're not hiding their social media from you, and everything's out in the open, you shouldn't have anything to worry about. If you have to hide parts of your life from your partner and you say, well, I should have some privacy, it's like...
Yeah, I think they're talking more so about like Instagram accounts where, those women that post like really sexy and provocative pictures and that they don't like that and they don't want their girls to have a Instagram account.
I can understand that depending on what kind of provocative pictures they are as well. And it's also if she had that when you met her as well, but now she never had it and now she decides to do it. Now she wants to show off bikini pics or like really risque pics online. It's like, why are you doing that now? We're married or we're committed. We moved in together or something. Again, talk. She needs to be loyal to me. Well, of course.
Yeah, that goes both ways.
Yeah, but that's again, if you don't have that. Unless you're one of these people that like have an open relationship.
Or if you're a guy who is like very wealthy, then I feel like it's not always realistic to expect that from him. It's not right, but I do feel like it might not be realistic.
What do you mean? Can you say that again?
Well, if you're a girl and you get into a relationship with a guy who's like a multi-millionaire or whatever, you should maybe, I don't know. It depends on if it's actually for love or not. But they are very prone to cheat, maybe.
Yeah, and if he's got a certain type of lifestyle. But again, it depends on the guy. If the guy's bullshitting to the girl and he doesn't care about lying to her just to keep her in her place. Oh, of course, babe. Yeah, I love you. Of course. You're the only girl. I'm giving up my ways, but he doesn't. And she can see that he doesn't. Then it's on you.
Yeah.
All right. Any other questions, people? Remember, 3 emojis before like this, and then I can see it's a question. Other than that, I think we're pretty good. All right.
What would you say is your number one expectation in a marriage?
Respects me. Yeah. But in terms of individual character traits, like when I was dating, I mean, obviously she can't respect me until she gets to know me. I need to earn respect. But like initially have the basics of, I think, who was it that YNT Fitness sort of said? He said polite, kind, agreeable, and less combative. So not combative, agreeable, kind, nice, just decent and polite, right? That I always expected. That was my baseline because that's just a nice, decent person, you know? And then after you meet them, when you're with them and you're committed, is respect. When the respect starts to kind of fade, where you're being reasonable and then just being more and more bitchy or selfish and they don't care about you or the relationship, like when they don't respect you, I find that a big red flag. What about you?
This might sound weird, but I think my number one expectation has always been for me to just feel comfortable. Because
you just want to be happy.
No, not to be happy, to feel comfortable. That's because I've always said, like, in a relationship, I don't care about much, but I just want to hang out with someone that I feel comfortable with. And that's how I've seen all my relationships. That's also why I'm here. You know, I just want to be able to hang out with someone I feel comfortable with. And I think that's probably the biggest thing I look for going into any relationship. Do I feel comfortable? Can I just hang out with this person? Can I be myself? Can I be silly? Can we talk? You know, that's my number one, I think.
Yeah, women want to feel safe.
Yeah.
Yeah, as long as you feel safe, you feel good. But there's the thing, if you're kind of bitchy and you put on this face and like you're too independent, too forceful, you'll never feel safe because you never let down your guard enough for a person to really see and like you enough to want to make you feel safe. Like the guy's got to want to make you feel safe. But if you're always combative and bitchy and too independent, then he's like, well, you don't need me to make you feel safe, or I can't really see the real you. You're not being honest. You're playing games. So you do need to have the courage to be honest and open first.
I feel like, at least for me, that happens naturally, and that is something I think that I would sense from a man. Because in my past relationships, the relationships were good, but I still felt very independent. But with you, that was very different. So I think...
Right from the start, though? Or it changed over time? You didn't feel that way straight away, or...?
With you? No, yeah, pretty much from the beginning. But that also had a lot to do with your age and the way that you spoke. So, but yeah, I think that a woman senses when she can feel safe with someone, and then she feels more comfortable letting her guard down and trusting the person. But that doesn't happen automatically with everyone, because I didn't feel like that with my exes, for example. And they were really good relationships, but I feel like they were more equal relationships. And
did you ever feel like there was like a bit of a wall between you and all your exes, even if they were nice?
I wouldn't describe it as a wall, but I haven't... With you, I feel like I can share myself completely, and I can just give myself to you completely, and I trust you completely. And with my exes, I feel like we had really good relationships, and I felt comfortable, and it was fun, but I was also still independent. But also because I didn't necessarily need to give more of myself, I feel like. But with you, it's different. So yeah, it's kind of hard to explain, but I think that women sense when a man can make her feel really safe. And once she feels safe with him, then she will let down her guard and she can trust him and she can kind of surrender to him more.
Mm-hmm.
And I felt that with you. Yeah. Yeah. So I think that is something that probably happens, at least for me. I feel like that happened very naturally. And that's something that you sense as a woman.
Mm. Okay.
Yeah.
Anyway, let's see. Any final questions? I don't think so. I think that's it. It may be time to end this, babe.
No.
Well, is there anything else you want to add to artificially keep it going further? Yeah, for not ridiculous. I just wish that everyone would realize, it sounds cliche, just be yourself and stop putting up these clever, impressive games and masks. Like if you want to be if you want a guy to make you feel safe, and if you want to know that it's real, show him exactly who you are. Stop trying to act tough or bitchy or independent and stuff. Then if he actually likes you and wants to take care of you, you'll know it's real. Like he wants to take care of the real you, not the you that has this clever mask on that's playing games and stuff.
I also think you should think about, is my expectation actually about the person, or is this just something I want?
Yeah, it's like a lifestyle.
Yeah. And then also, is it fair? Is this expectation fair?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. Because also you might have high expectations. Both of you are very business minded, right? But it takes a lot of effort for both of you to maintain those expectations. So if you live in a business world, like you're always like, you have successes, but when you have failures, they really hurt you. When you're in a relationship with someone where you're both business minded, when you have failures, where you're always trying to achieve, when you have failures, it really affects you. You and I have very basic expectations in our lifestyle. So when we have failures, it's a day where we feel flat. Yeah, I couldn't be bothered making a video today. I didn't feel like doing some work, or no big deal, we'll just sit on the couch. But if we're both this go-getting career couple, it's like, yeah, when we make money and we start a business, it's great. We're at a 10 and everything's great. But then what happens? A business fails. We don't have enough money. Then it really stresses the relationship out. So you both have high expectations as a business couple, as a high value couple, but then also having low realistic expectations makes the relationship easier. You don't have to stress the relationship as much. So yeah, check your relationships. There's nothing wrong with having really, I wouldn't say high expectations, but very specific expectations that are very important to you. That you've always been a certain way. If you're a person that's a homebody, that you really love living life a certain way, they're your expectations. And you should be looking for someone who has compatible real life expectations. But if you're someone who's outgoing and a go-getter and business-minded and finance-focused and stuff, you have, some people say, oh, you've got high expectations as a man or woman, but that's who you are. What are you supposed to do now? Lower them and be with some schleb?
Yeah, I think being homebodies is also an expectation that I've always had.
Yeah.
My expectation was also, we're just going to have a chill life. And then also, you're going to be loyal to me. That's also been a very automatic expectation that I've had, and that I've always been almost naive in, I feel like. Like, I've never, ever been afraid that one of my exes would cheat on me or anything like that. I've always trusted them, and I also don't think anyone ever did. Yeah. But I've never been, like, suspicious or anything.
I don't think you should, because that creates distance between the two of you if you're always on guard and suspicious. All right, let's wrap this up.
Oh, we have a question.
Where?
Silvar.
Where?
There.
Oh, that was early on. Silva says, does that mean wanting a woman that doesn't misbehave in the first place is unreasonable? Yeah. No, that's not unreasonable. You don't want someone to misbehave right from the beginning. That's not an unreasonable request. Am I reading this wrong?
No.
What does that mean to you? Because this is
I think
answering this. Are your expectations of a partner realistic?
so. I think, is it a he or a she?
I think it's a he.
I think he means that the expectation is that that women misbehave.
Yeah,
that it's unreasonable to want a woman that doesn't misbehave.
No, I think you should want a woman that behaves reasonably. Again, if your expectations of a woman are unreasonably high, then you know what I mean? Like what is reasonable to you? I think the basics of decency and not being rude and not having a hot temper and things like that, that's reasonable. But if you want her to look, speak, act in this really high-value woman way, that's very rare to find, and I would say that's not that reasonable. But again, you can have that. Look, you can have any standards you want, but if they're too unreasonable, then it's going to be very hard, if not impossible, to find them. So, but misbehaving, I wouldn't tolerate misbehaving over and over, especially if someone makes a mistake and you let them know that you don't like that, and they're like, oh, yeah, sorry, and then they just keep doing it, or I don't care what you like, then you also have a choice. Don't go out with them.
Right. But this doesn't necessarily just go for women. I feel like it goes for anyone.
Yeah. I think that's it. I think we're done, babe.
Yeah.
Karu says, will you bring Steph on Discord?
Sure. Hey, you forgot the H in my name, Karu. You have to
Step.
add the H.
Yeah, but
I'm a
there's no actual link from our channel here to our Discord. We should create a Discord channel for us, for our channel. Because I have a Discord channel for my main channel, but I don't have one for us here. So we'll probably create one. But yeah, those people did you want to jump on Discord after this, or you can't be bothered?
No, sure. I still want to keep going, but yeah.
Well, for those of you who actually, do you have the what's
Big one. Are you on a beach? I'm jealous.
what's the link to my Discord? But then again, I don't want to put it here. That's my Discord. We should create one for our channel as well, babe.
Why don't you want to put it here?
But then, okay, Karu, can you just paste the link to the human thing here? I can't find it at the moment because I'm streaming through our channel, and any of you who have a Discord, jump on, and
I love how Big Ol's comment is so random.
The smell of flowers. All right. 100% agree with human on that. On what? What I say. See, this is the problem with the delay. And by the time I read a comment, I don't know what you're agreeing with or disagreeing with when it comes. So, oh well. All right. I think we covered a bit. There's also the unrealistic expectations. There is this expectation that guys pay on first dates. That's generally expected. But to what degree? And you might say, well, no, I'm going to split the bill on every date. I don't think there's anything wrong with deciding that you're going to split the bill. And if she doesn't like it, she doesn't have to go out with you.
Right.
But I don't think that's unreasonable.
We've made a whole video about that.
Yeah.
Yeah.
There are the links. If you're here live, here are the links to the Discord. Thanks, Peg and Karu. And yeah. We'll catch you next time. And for those of you who have a microphone, jump on the Discord link here. I'll actually copy it. And we'll put it under the video somewhere. All right. That's it. Let's go. We had a whole 13 people today, it looks like. Massive turnout. 35 views. So, all right, guys. I hope this was interesting, at least hanging out with us. These are fun.
Yeah.
And we'll catch the rest of you on Discord. And, yeah, we'll catch you next time. Bye.